Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Yeah. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have a vision. It's clear and plain. People living life, smiling again. Oh, see the children. They know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But remember that love, yes it will. I know. Yeah. Love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe. Sun will shine again. And love, I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace, happiness and joy forever. Oh, yeah. One day, someday, hate will be over and love will reign. They won't last, for I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But in the end, love will reign. Yeah.
Love will reign. Welcome to Love and Stuff. I'm excited to be here as I am every week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so whether you're watching us live from the Love and Stuff community page from which we emanate, the Marcus R. Holmes page on Facebook, the HR Passion Guy page on TikTok, YouTube events, Instagram on the Love and Stuff Passion Guy, or whether you're watching us on any or all of the platforms that I've mentioned, take a moment, click share, tag 2, 3, 4, 5 of your closest friends, connections, subscribers, and followers, 5 of the more popular ones to join in tonight's discussion as we return to the inbox. I want to again shout out all of you who gave feedback on the replays of the Women's History Month. We are 77% women in the Love and Stuff community, so we have to, of course, make special tribute to women, and amazing women are within our Love and Stuff community, adding to the ranks all the time. But we've got Dr. Valencia Etner and many others. Check her out on The Encouragement on her channel here on Facebook, and so many that are adding to the ranks, including Autumn Nicole Davis Holmes, she says, who is the sweetest sweetie girl in the whole wide world and is going to soon be graduating from the Thurgood Marshall School of Law, getting her Juris Doctorate. And I am shouting and excited for her. And so there are so many wonderful women within our Love and Stuff community. I wanted to do that shout out to all of them. And shout out to the Inside of Love and Stuff watchers. If you're not part of the Inside of Love and Stuff group, you should go to the page, look under groups, and join. It's an amazing group, an amazing array of amazing people, men, women, husbands, wives, single people, widows, widowers, caregivers, you name it. And all of us are on an extraordinary journey to live our best life. So I want you to join that community. And I want you also to click share and tag someone who is having questions about relationships. All right. Questions about relationships. We want you to tune in, especially today. This topic, I think, may hit home for some, and some other people, you may want to uh, engage them in this conversation, all in the hopes that we increase the amount of love in the world and up our love game. All right. So tonight, we're talking about a relationship that looks good on the outside, but is completely stuck on the inside. 8 months in, feelings are real, future is possible, but nobody has complete access to each other's real life. No kids, no holidays, no family dinners or outings, no integration. And here's where it gets interesting. She says, no ring, no meeting my daughter. And he says, no meeting your daughter, no ring. So tonight we're asking real questions here. Are you building a relationship or protecting a situationship? Straight from the inbox. This gentleman is so concerned about what is occurring in his life. Take a listen. Hey, Marcus. I've been dating this woman for about 8 months now. Trying to my readers because those words just got small. I'll find them in a minute. Okay, we're going to go on without the readers. Bear with me. I see them. I've been dating this woman for about 8 months now. I really care about her and I can honestly see a future with her. But something doesn't feel right. I actually met her father by chance at a restaurant where he bowls. So it wasn't even intentional. Since then, I haven't met anyone else in her family. No holidays, no gatherings, nothing. More importantly, I haven't met her 15-year-old daughter, whose father isn't in the picture. She made it clear that I won't meet her daughter until I put a ring on her finger. But for me, that's a problem. I don't feel comfortable proposing without seeing how she parents or understanding how I would fit into her real life. On the flip side, she has met my 18-year-old son, but definitely not my daughter who lives out of state. So it feels like we're both keeping parts of our lives separately. Okay. Now we're at a standstill. She's saying no ring, no access. And I'm saying no access, no ring. It feels like we're stuck in this loop. And I don't know how to move forward without forcing something that doesn't feel right. What should I do? We're talking about the ring or the door. When commitment gets stuck at the family gate. I'm going to post this in the comments so that you can see it across all platforms, and I won't have to try to read it again. I hope not the entire thing. It's a little long, but certainly we're always thankful that people still share their stories with us via inbox, and those that feel comfortable enough to do it, they can come on. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that kind of judgment happening, but I'm going to drop this in the comments and pin it. All right, drop it and pin it. Let's see if we can. Okay, we're going to show it, but I want to pin it. Okay. Yeah, it's pinned. All right, we're going to leave it there for a second so you can see it. And hopefully you will click share and tag some others to join us right here and right now. All right. And we're going to dive into this topic. Just before we do, so I can grab these sexy specs because I'm going to need them. I want to have you think about the 36 questions that lead to love.
Can 36 questions make you fall in love? What if I told you two young psychologists discovered over 30 years ago that just 36 questions could create real closeness between complete strangers? And that the same questions might lead you to love or help you discover more about yourself than you ever imagined. This isn't a dating gimmick. It's an experiment that's been studied and repeated around the world. People walked in as strangers and walked out feeling deeply connected. Some even got married. But here's the twist. It's not just about romance. These questions open the door to vulnerability, honesty, and self-reflection. They help you see who you are, how you love, and what really matters to you in relationships. So whether you're looking for love or looking to learn more about yourself in the process, click the link, sign up, and let's walk through these 36 questions together. Who knows? Love might just be one question away.
Let's walk through these 36 questions together. And so if you're interested in signing up for 36 questions that lead to love, I want to make sure that I get you the QR code so that you can sign up. If you're interested in 36 questions that lead to love, scan this code and we will have you share your information. There you go. Scan that code. And then we will get you involved in 36 questions that lead to love, which is an amazing experiment. You do not want to miss it. This is our 2.0. It's where we bring together strangers and they ask each other these 36 questions to see if it leads to more vulnerability and the potential for a love connection. It was fun, hilarious, inspiring, invigorating, and enlightening. And we're in round 2 and we want you to join us. So if you're interested, join us for 36 questions that lead to love. All right, we're going to get into the topic. I want to make sure it's pinned. I'm going to leave it there for a second. I hope that you can read it or you can read it in the pen. All right. So we're talking about a gentleman who is ready to settle down with this woman he's been dating for just 8 months, which I think is extraordinary for the most part. Not a lot of men would have arrived there. But I want to ask you some questions. Let me ask you and drop your answers in the comments. Would you let someone meet your child before a full ring or engagement commitment? Or do you really need a ring before access? Type in the chat, team ring first or team meet first. Team ring first or team meet first. Would you let someone meet your child before you give them a ring or get a ring? Or do you need a ring before access? Want to see what you're having in the comments over there on TikTok? What is your thinking over there? What's your thinking over here on Facebook? Sterling says meet. Okay, meet first. All right. Love it, love it. Anyone else? Valencia says, hey, Dr. V. She called me early. I was just still in my shout mode. I think I didn't even know it was you for a whole moment. Even if it doesn't lead to love, what it does for you is worth the journey. Oh, I love you. I'm going to have you on so we can promote it a little bit more, Dr. V, because what's happening is I think people are fearful a little bit and they're saying, well, who else is participating? I'm like, now, would that be a stranger if you went to their page and checked them out? So the idea is that you meet someone that you really don't have a relationship with, right? And Dr. V can tell you it was enlightening and it's worth the journey for you. So thank you so much. We might have to have you back on the journey with us. All right. Team Sterling says meet first or ring first. Which do you say? Should the person, should you meet somebody, someone's child before giving them a ring or after? Does it matter? Does it depend? Are there different factors? We want to hear from you. Drop that in the comments to let us know if your team ring first or if your team meet first. Okay. Now it begs the question, got to ask myself, and maybe you're asking, is this really about a ring or is this about control? Sometimes when dealing with the truth, we find out it's not a love issue or a love crisis. Sometimes it's a trust and control issue. And when someone holds too tightly or controls access to their real life, they may also control the pace of the relationship. And while he's ready to get married, maybe she's not, right? And when both people do it, you could get a stalemate disguised as love. Okay. Now, some will say, and I'm saying in point one, can you really commit to what you haven't seen? Not talking about God, who is the quintessential love outside of him. Because are you marrying potential or are you marrying patterns? Right now, he's seeing everything but seeing her as a mother. So if I'm him, I might say, I'm not yet asking to step in as the father, but I will be a father figure. So I'm asking to understand the life I'm committing to. And I'm willing to start small, no pressure, ice cream outing, bowling since we've already been there, quick introduction. Might be a good way to start, right? Good place to start, right? Now, experts like Dr. John Gottman's Institute emphasize that trust is through shared life integration, not isolation. And Dr. Esther Perel highlights that commitment without reality testing is fantasy. Of course, you know, I love the work of Dr. Gary Chapman, who reminds us that love grows through intentional exposure to each other's real worlds, not our curated versions. So this might not just be about a ring or a daughter. It could be control versus vulnerability, protection versus partnership, fantasy versus reality testing. And right now, they're both negotiating commitment without full visibility. And that can be risky, right? Sterling on TikTok is saying you can't expect someone to marry you when they don't know you or your situation fully. Her child is a huge aspect of her. I agree. Children are a huge aspect of us. Valencia, Dr. V says, meet first, not early, but before ring. The drama of that depth of commitment without major persons knowing, particularly children, since they are a part of daily life, is a recipe for stress. I love that. That could be our hashtag. Especially if they can see what you can't see, and the backlash could be devastating. I love this comment. I'm gonna have to pin that for a second for people to see it, Dr. V. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. Keep those comments coming and keep sharing as you're coming in. We are talking about here in the Love and Stuff, the ring or the door. It might be a commitment that's being held up or stuck at the family gate. Okay. So thinking about Gottman's principle of building love maps, that point number one, you cannot commit to what you haven't fully experienced. He's being asked to commit to a family system, or is he, that he hasn't seen, because maybe she is holding him at bay, right? One of the ways to think about fixing it is to have direct conversations, right? We're always talking about communication here in the Love and Stuff community. And the conversation could ebb and flow similar to this. I want to build a future with you, but I need to experience all parts of your world, not just imagine it. Okay. So then again, suggest to her some low stakes exposure. All right. So not a full integration yet. The group outings that I talked about, the park, the restaurant, the ice cream outing, a quick introduction. No stepdad pressure, just presence. So that you can move from the unknown to an observed reality. All right. And I think it's really important that you all have some direct communication, because without it, you leave so much unsaid. You leave the opportunity for so much to be said that is unsaid, if that makes any sense. You leave what he's thinking she's thinking, or what she's thinking he's thinking, instead of having the conversation. Okay. Point two, she could be protecting, not playing, right? She could be protecting, not playing, or said differently, her boundary may be protection, not rejection. Dr. Esther Perel says protection after past relational wounds show up very differently. She may be protecting her daughter from instability or past disappointments. And it's important to recognize that, but that's a part of that conversation that I think that is important for you to have. Okay. Let's be fair. This is a Black woman raising a daughter with no father in the picture. And Black women who have had to be mother and father, protector and provider, take a very different approach sometimes when rearing their Black daughters. Okay. And sometimes that protection, though unintended, can show up as control when people have been hurt before. So he might want to shift his tone to not, you're blocking me out, you're keeping me out. Can we talk about what you're protecting your daughter from? Now you're not fighting, you're understanding. Now you have empathy. Now you're leading with curiosity, because there may be more to it than meets the eye. Okay. So ask with empathy, not with accusations. Validate her instincts as a mother. I respect that you're very careful about who enters her life. So let's define what readiness looks like together. You can turn a wall into a shared standard, but you must use some empathy to do that. Dr. V says low stakes. Yes, even church and dinner allows you to see foundational values. I love it. Church and dinner, I love it. Whatever, I'm with Dr. V, whatever will expose those foundational values. Low stakes. Sterling said, yes, that would make sense if they were in the early dating stages, but if he said he's ready to. I find it interesting, Sterling. I'll be honest with you. And I think it's a little different by, I'm going to say by culture and by age. It's different by different segments of demographics. I don't know a lot of men who after 8 months say, I'm marrying you. I want to marry you. There are men that do. And there are men that take their time. But when a man does really know what he wants, he does make up his mind. So while for a woman who has been in relationship before, and that's really all that I'm going to share, she's been in relationship before where she's being cautious, a man who's ready and says, ready or not, here I come, will go. Right? Because a man that makes up his mind makes up his mind. So it does seem to me there is some hesitation, but if he's fallen in love with her, if he really loves her, it's worth him finding out what the hesitation is about. It could be a red flag, but it could be the green flag that he needs to see that she's just uber cautious because of what has occurred in the past. Okay. Dr. V says it's also important to consider how she grew up. If single parenting is a family dynamic, it comes with levels of protection and possible past trauma. Empathy is imperative. I agree. You agree with the great relationship experts and Dr. V's expert advice because you don't know what you don't know. And oftentimes when we don't talk about it, we make and build narratives about what we really don't know. And we mischaracterize protection as overbearing, as control. And we really don't know the deets, right? We really don't know all the details. And he doesn't fully know. Hopefully, he's going to have more conversation about those details. I wholeheartedly agree with that. All right. So we talked about points number 1 and 2, which one is you cannot commit to what you haven't experienced. Her boundary may be protection, not rejection. When we're talking about the ring or the door, when commitment gets stuck at the family gate, this gentleman is ready to marry this woman that he's been dating for 8 months. Now, he met her dad by chance. They were having dinner at a restaurant that was connected to a bowling area. Her dad was bowling. They ran into the dad and got an introduction. He and the dad hit it off. But she hasn't invited him to anything else, family dinners, holiday, nothing. And she says until she gets a ring, he's not meeting her daughter. She has met his 18-year-old son, but not his daughter who lives in another state. And he says, before you'll get a ring, I'm going to have to meet your daughter. I want to know what this family dynamic is. Is he right? Is he wrong? Is there a right and wrong? Is this control versus vulnerability, protection versus partnership, fantasy versus reality testing? Well, point number 1, you cannot commit to what you haven't experienced. That comes from the Gottman principle of building love maps. And we talked a little bit about how to fix it with low stake exposure, right? Low stakes exposure. Could be ice cream, could be church and dinner, Dr. V said. It could be a restaurant, could be bowling, could be the park, where there's no stepdad pressure, just presence. This way you move from the unknown to observed reality. Number two, her boundary may be protection. Protection, excuse me, not rejection. I'm trying to get that out. Dr. Esther Perel says there might be heightened protection due to past relational wounds. And so you need to ask about it with empathy. Help me understand what you're protecting your daughter from. How can I partner with you to protect her? Because I respect that you're careful about who enters her life. So let's define what readiness looks like together. Okay, great advice, I think. And we're moving to number 3, because this also could be a powerful standoff, not a partnership yet. Gottman talks about gridlock can equal unspoken fears. This no ring, no meeting, no ring stalemate might require some third-party intervention or for you to call out the pattern calmly. We're stuck because we're both waiting on the other. So maybe we're at month 8 and we decide at month 12, we're going to meet the daughter in a casual setting. Or month 10 to 12, we're going to talk about what deeper integration of our families look like, and then discuss what the engagement looks like. The goal here is to replace ultimatums with a roadmap. I love this from Dr. Gottman, because oftentimes I've even been in situations where it's my way or the highway, believe it or not. It's my way or the highway. And that standoff rarely leads to a more peaceful and collaborative existence, right? So instead of ultimatums, you might come to some place of meeting of the minds, or working a roadmap toward where you're headed, right? Because this feels like a standoff. She says, prove it first. He says, show me first. And that's not really a sign of partnership, right? That's really like negotiation without trust. If you do, I will. But you're going to have to do. If you don't do, then I won't, right? So the breakthrough move that could change everything, set a time frame, right? Next 30 days, casual intro, or 2 months or 4 months, next 60 days, a shared activity. Okay. Now, if she doesn't agree to that, she might be protecting her comfort. And you've got to make a decision as to whether or not you all can build a roadmap together, whether that's important to you or not at that point. All right. Okay, got some filter comments. Yes, that would make, okay, got it. All right, got some filter comments. That ring is her safety net. She wants him to choose her first, which could be a red flag for an esteem issue. I love it. I totally agree with that. There is definitely a red flag. Our associate producer, senior producer of the Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix, joined us on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining. We're talking the ring or the door, whether there is a commitment stuck at the family gate. All right. And we're going to point number 4. Marriage requires family integration, not just romantic compatibility. I love it. You can't date in isolation where there needs to be integration, because they're in a relationship, but are they really in each other's real lives? Dr. Gottman teaches that lasting relationships are built on shared life systems, not just emotional connection. So they both have to open up. He's already introduced his son. She has to introduce her daughter. And again, not pressure, just presence. Something that might sting a little bit, I think. And It certainly raised some questions in the inbox. If you can't enter someone's real life, you have no business planning forever in it. Because people have to be ready for love. When you're wearing your love front and center, you've got to allow someone into your real life. And vulnerability can be scary, but it is the only way that you can plan forever is when you let someone in today. You got to let them into your real life. And if you can't allow someone in your real life, you have no business planning forever with them. Okay, so there has to be some readiness. Because she might be protecting her daughter. She might be controlling access. He might be being cautious or avoiding commitment on his own terms. Who needs to move first? Does it really matter if you both are committed? Is it a matter of principle? Is it a matter of control? Gary Chapman says love must function in real environments and recommends how you might fix this. Both open your world simultaneously. Again, start with clear expectations, no forced bonding, neutral settings. Can we see how our lives fit before we decide forever? The goal is to test the blended family reality before full and final commitment. Okay? Very important, I think, because again, if you're not going to let somebody in, what are you even doing if you're willing to commit your life in covenant with someone, but you're holding some aspects of your life? You know, there is a back room to my left, a few rooms over, that doesn't get as much of the light of day. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't take you in there until I had my cleaning person clean it. It's an area of the house that doesn't get as much light or much usage or much time. Imagine having a part of your life closed off like that and bringing other people into your life, and they're wondering what's in that room. And you're like, no, no. You'd think up differently about me if you saw that room. You wouldn't understand me. You would judge me. Well, love requires a vulnerability. Now, I need to clean the room. Probably the truth. Someone's going to clean the room so that it can get the light and air and vulnerability that it deserves, right? It can get the usage that I deserve out of it, right? But that when someone comes in, they won't be like, there's another room back there? Are there parts of your life that you've quarantined off from your relationships? You got to ask yourself why. And you got to be thinking about the person who's trying to get into your life, wondering, are you hiding something? Are you trying to control me from having full access? Does full access worry you? Eventually, you need to open up. Eventually, you need to allow others in. Because if you're in a situation like this and you're feeling stuck, or you don't know what to say, or where one conversation could be the end, it could change everything. You got to be open to the fact that if you don't realize or recognize that love isn't proven by promises, it's proven by how two lives can come together, or in this case, more lives can come together. And I suppose that could be scary for some, to open yourself up to the possibility that you could be wounded, hurt, disappointed, and whatever other potential traumas, as Dr. V mentioned earlier, have happened in your life, that you could be exposed, that you could be re-injured by those types of things. But with love comes a risk. And oftentimes with integration comes growth, integrating of families at least. Well, what do you think he should do? Should he not propose yet? Should he not accept the stalemate? He definitely should lead with empathy, right? Respect her desire for protection. He should definitely clearly state what he needs, right? Which for him is real life integration, right? And he should certainly propose a specific time-bound or time path forward and watch her response. Be prepared that there might still be some resistance. And if she collaborates, compromises, there's a good future likely. If she holds the line rigidly, maybe the love of his life is not ready to be his wife. Maybe she's not ready for marriage. And that in and of itself isn't a horrible thing if he's willing to give more time for her to grow, develop, understand that he is both a safe place and a place where love can grow. I'm going to ask you, would you let someone meet your child before the ring? Can you commit to someone, commit to them in a serious commitment, covenant commitment, without seeing all of their life, without seeing their lives as a parent? I want to hear from you in the comments. And whether or not you feel what's happening here is it really vulnerability versus control? What's happening? What do you think? I love to hear from you. All right. Come into the comments. All right. Thank you for joining. All right. This you first is not going to go away. The candid communication and maybe a third-party intervention to help teach the tools of effective sharing and yielding as a sign of commitment to the process, even before a forever is contemplated. Great advice. Great advice. Great advice. Thank you for joining Life is a Dream over there on TikTok. Tap the screen and get people actively involved there. I'm going to put this comment up there. Thank you, Mama V, Dr. V, who you can catch on V Encouragement Ministries every Tuesday. V Encourage. Check out her channel there. All right. All right. So just to recap the 4 points that I want you to consider. And I say I want you to consider because while this is information that I provided to this gentleman in the inbox, this is information that I think you can share, start dialogues around with people who are having challenge in relationship. Listen, relationship can be a challenge in and of itself with just 2 people, right? And sometimes, if you know, like I know, you can be in relationship with yourself and still have challenge, right? But when you're thinking about the well-being, the protection, the life, the experiences of your family, Sure, you may want to bring some caution to who gets into your family, who has access to your family. You know, I used to post incessantly about Autumn. I just love that little girl. She's not a little girl anymore. She's a young lady, a woman. But I would post all kind of stuff, us here, us there, us there. And one time Autumn came to me and said, "Uncle, you post so much." I said, "Yes." She says, "Do you know someone came up to me in the mall and it freaked me out because they knew more about me than I thought a stranger should." It kind of freaked me out in that moment, thinking, "Oh, what have I done? I've shared too much." So I pulled back some of the sharing, even though I still share. She'll tell you I still share. But I pulled back some of the sharing because I too, as a parent, want to guard the access, right? Because there are so many different kinds of things and people. I get wanting to ensure that you protect your family from outside forces that you might deem as negative. But when you open your heart to a relationship to the point where you're seriously considering marriage or a covenant relationship, where your love is front and center, you're also giving access to those that are connected to you. And normally, as we journey inside Love and Stuff, April is about setting healthy boundaries. And I want you to think about what healthy boundaries look like in your life around relationships. Sure, you should set boundaries for newcomers that are coming into your space, into your life, what access they have, who they meet, whether they can have a key to your place, whatever conversations you have. I just with some folks in inbox, and some people said, "She's right. He can't even have access to come over." And as I engaged with him in the inbox, he said they stay about 45 minutes apart. So there are times that she comes and she will spend the night, what adult people may do when they spend the night. But he's never been able to spend the night at her place. And even times when her daughter is with her parents, with the grandparents, she still didn't have him come stay. If he comes the 45 minutes, they end up getting a room. She's fierce about these boundaries of him being in the spaces where her daughter is. To me, that is a flag. I don't know if it's completely red, but it's certainly a flag, because something in the experience has made her what I consider to be hyper cautious. And he needs to understand that and decide if that is something that he can navigate. Okay. So he's invested in the relationship. He's interested in being a step parent, even though he's not forcing that. He understands that he would be helping to rear, at least for some years, even though rearing doesn't stop at 18, but he'd be actively involved to some degree. And she hasn't bucked against that, but she's bucked against the meeting. And I'm with Dr. V to that extent. There probably needs to be a third party who can help them walk through these issues and concerns, because there appears to be more to this than meets the eye. Now, I talked to a number of women who say he wants to meet the daughter. He wants to marry her in 8 months. Pass him over here. Some women say it takes a man. I don't necessarily agree with this as a generalization. But some of the women I've spoken with say it takes a man longer than 8 months to decide that he's going to marry somebody. I've seen people get married even people in Love and Stuff. We had a guest on who had a pretty devastating situation with a fiance, and he was married to another woman within the next year, and he's happily married. There are a lot of brothers that when they see what they want, that's what they want. Boom. And when they see it, they could have dated somebody for 8 years and they met this one person. She's the one. Boom. But I will admit, I don't run into a whole host of brothers that are single that are like, yeah, we were dating for 8 months and we're married. Like, how long y'all been dating? 2 years, 2.5. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. So for him to be intentional about building this family unit and marrying her, I want to see her work through some of whatever the challenges that may be present around opening up and becoming more vulnerable. And that, again, to Dr. V's earlier point, may likely take someone else getting involved, some third party getting involved. The daughter is 15 years old. Daughter is 15 years old. Okay. She's met his son, who is 18 years old. He has a daughter that I think is 13, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and look. But that daughter, she hasn't met because the daughter lives in another state. So it isn't where he's like, well, you can't be my son if I can't meet your daughter. And I understand, I believe I understand the need and desire, particularly in the African American community, for women, especially single mothers, to protect their daughters. We could have more gatekeepers, more male gatekeepers to support these women. I hope the brothers, the Spirituality Brothers group is watching this, or some of them, because we can be gatekeepers for our single sisters who have children, to help them know that they have people who partner and support them in ensuring that the daughters are safe, right? I think that is incumbent upon us as the community. It harkens as a tangent. This is tangential, I believe. The world, at least nationally, saw some of the opening day ills that we had here in Detroit around the Detroit Tigers opening game, and a lot of young people who got into fights and brawls and the like. And there were young men and some older men who were around, who didn't get involved, who didn't break it up, and some who just videoed. I would suggest to you, I offer to you, those young men and those brothers not wanting to get involved, getting harmed or hurt, don't display or model the principles of gatekeeping as I understand them. Of course, I'm from a little bit earlier generation to some degree, where people would see people fighting and a man would say, y'all stop right there. Let her hair go. Stand over there. Or would see a young lady with an older guy and say, is that your uncle? Is that your dad? We have a responsibility to be gatekeepers, right? And maybe in some factions of our community, that is not happening as it should. So I understand a Black mama, particularly a single Black mama, who wants to ensure that her daughters are safe and that she understands the intentions and she understands the motives of those that are around those daughters. What I hope to suggest is that in some way to balance that, when you open your heart up, and hopefully you can see and feel and understand and know when a man is truly attempting to love you and you can open yourself up to be vulnerable enough to share with him your whys for such the gated community around your daughter, so that he can navigate the space with you, and together you all can come up with boundaries that are healthy for the both of you and for the future of what could be a budding relationship. You can risk all of that by shutting down and saying the ring or the dough. Without one, you got to go. You might be shutting down the possibility of an amazing relationship, covenant, and marriage because you're not fully ready to navigate what has been in the past. I applaud any single mother who is protecting her daughter, protecting her son, protecting her children, protecting her cub, as it were. But do it in a way that when love shows up at your door and you know it's love, not if you don't know, if you're unsure, until you're sure you're not, right? But if you're sure that love is shown up at your door and you're opening yourself to that love, be clear and intentional about explaining the boundaries that still remain on the periphery and why they are there. When you do that, you actually free the other person to make better decisions around collaborating with you, supporting you, advocating for you, so that all that you desire, which I hope is a healthy, peaceful balance and an emotional safety for your children and family, that can become a reality as you allow someone new into your space. Well, I'm grateful for the topic, and it's a timely topic because there are so many blended families. There are so many people that come from different love and familial experiences that are merging together. And it does require patience, empathy, and grace when you don't know all of the details, all of the situations that predate you. It's important that the lines of communication stay open and robust so that you can share authentically and vulnerably and transparently so that you all understand where the other is coming from. Many times people are not intending to hide, intending to be disingenuous. Sometimes they are, but a lot of times people are intending to protect themselves. The world has brought experience has brought to us so much pain and hurt and trauma. But I believe that love is a warming and cooling agent. I believe that love is a covering and healing agent if you allow it to be. Love can heal you in places that you had forgotten that you were hurt. And love can lift you up out of places that you thought would consume you with burning flames, ember, and ashes. But are you open to it? Will you open your heart again wide enough to give access as you're getting comfortable with boundaries being relaxed and released? That's the path that might bring you to the greatest moment of love in your life. But it does take courage to go down that path. And if you feel ready and the person that you're with doesn't seem ready, ask yourself, is it worth having grace, patience, and empathy for those you profess to love? I'm Marcus Holmes. I'm the love activist. I'm advocating for a better love for you and me. People ask me all the time, now, why do you talk about love? Because the world needs more of it. I need more of it. And if you're true about it, so do you. You've got a neighbor that you think is unlovable, and it's really not them, it's you. You got a coworker that you're like, ah, and maybe it's not them, maybe it's you. There are some things about your spouse that might irk you And maybe it's really not that bad. Maybe it's you. And as you begin to connect more with the quintessential love, accept and embrace the love that he has for you, and reciprocate that love to the best of your ability, and then love yourself. Jesus says to love your neighbor as yourself. Love God with everything you got, I'm paraphrasing, and your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the laws and all the prophets. And once you are loving yourself, not hiding yourself in those that you profess to love, but loving yourself in the same way, in the same manner, from the same outpouring, you will begin to be transparent, vulnerable, and open to those that you profess to love. And so I hope to increase the amount of love in the world, one person at a time. And if that resonates with you, then you'll join me again and you'll invite others to come Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we have topics from the inbox. Sometimes, like last month, we're celebrating women's history. Sometimes we're talking about series like setting healthy boundaries or marching into fitness. Sometimes we're talking about 36 questions that lead to love 2.0, but all of it is in the community of love. And if that resonates with you, my friend, I want you to go to the top of the page wherever you are and click follow. And if you're at the Love and Stuff community page from which we emanate today, click that notification so you can be reminded every Tuesday at 8:30 when we go live. I'd love to see you again. And I hope that you will bring a friend, 2 or 3, 5 or 10. Every Saturday, the love continues because we got two fellas who love sports. And I know because the U of M are the national champions that this Saturday, you're going to hear some Go Blue. You might hear some Go Green, Go White all day, all night, but you're going to hear some Go Blue. And you're also going to hear about women in sports. And you're going to hear about the NBA playoffs. And you're going to hear about all things sports because Kamal Williams and Felix Holmes, Sports Talk with Kamal and Felix, these fellas love sports. And if you just ladies want to learn a little bit more so that when you're sitting with your guy at halftime, you can talk about the stats and the figures. You want to learn about sports. They'll teach you the ins and outs about sports, share with you some really, really hilarious stories. They have a segment called Stupid Sports News, and you'll just enjoy the chemistry of two fellas who are great at heart and good at sports. Join them Saturdays, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, for an hour of a great time. They are the Soul Train of sports, and you will see why if you join them on Saturday. Well, hope to see you soon. And if you've been paying attention, there have been some video previews and different things about a brand new app that I have for those of you that are underemployed, unemployed, or unhappily employed. The Career Journey MVP, Most Valuable Person, that's you, app will take you from where you need to be in your career journey, where you are in your career journey, to where you need to be. So if you're stuck and your resume is not getting hits, you're not getting responses for interviews, you're not getting job offers, you don't know how to network, there are 5 modules that when you are done, you will be transformed into a top candidate. So check it out. It's called Career MVP, and you can go to hrpassionllc.com and learn more about it. Or you can go to the Stand Store. You can go to the link in any of the bios on any of these pages, and you'll find some navigation that will get you there. It'll transform your career journey. I swear by it, even though I don't swear. But I tell you, people are really pleased with the outcome, and they are moving up the career ladder. I want to see you get there as well. All of these things in the love sphere. Isn't that something? You can get love, you can get a job, and you can get some great sports, among many other things. So we will see you soon. Thanks for joining us. It's 8 minutes past. I want to see you next week at 8:30 and just share this. Let's keep the conversation going. What would you do if the question is ring or the door? When relationships and commitments get stuck at the family gate, what would you do? I'm Marcus Holmes. Have a grateful evening, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.